You can win and lose games on special teams. This has become a big part of NFL and college football now, hasn't it?
No doubt about it. And if you look at the number of games, Super Bowl games that have been won and lost at the next level, onside kick last year in the playoffs by the Packers, they miss it. It completely changes the outcome of games. You go back to the onside kick in the Super Bowl a couple years ago, and then across the board. I mean, what was it, 2 years ago, the Alabama-Auburn game? That's a special teams play that will go down in the history of college football. So it is, and the best thing that we've been able to kind of establish since day one here is coach's mentality. It's not just offense and defense here. Yes, we recruit these guys to come here as a receiver or as a defensive back. But what coach has been able to do is we have an all-star mentality, we like to call it, within our team room, and we can pick the best of the best. He always tells me, hey, no person on this team is off limits. So if we need certain guys to block punts, if we need certain kids as kick returners, whatever it might be, he lets me pick the best of the best to create those special teams.
Let's start with the kicking game. Extra points, field goals, and then punts.
Right now, we got a great group of guys. We brought 10 kids into camp to compete as specialists, and that's unheard of, But again, going back to the point of emphasis that Coach puts on, we know we need to continue to get better in the kicking game. So right now we got Jerry Jones, he's a freshman out of New Jersey. We got Ricky Seegers, who's played a lot in the past. He's coming back off an ACL tear, which was a great challenge for him this offseason, but he's been extremely focused on getting back healthy to where he was, as a sophomore. Satchel Ziffer, who came in last year as a walk-on, and you see what he did at the end of last year, winning quite a few games on extra points, and he even helped us in the field goals, and then helping us in kickoff as well. So Satchel was great for us. And actually look back to him too as a punter. I mean, he was FAU. After Lucky Whitehead ran that one back against us, he came in and averaged 52 yards on 2 punts right there. Freshman Chris Kirtley from down in Florida, actually has Virginia roots, but he graduated from St. Thomas Aquinas. He's pushing all those kids as well. So it's been a great competition so far this fall with the kickers. As far as the punters right now, Jarrett Servi, who was on the all-freshman team last year for Conference USA. You got Dalton Frazier, Northern Virginia kid, who punted as a true freshman at Norfolk State. He was ineligible to play last year, so he's been here pushing these guys. Chris Kirtley, he's a combo guy, which is great to see. And then Joe Pulisic, who's been our starting holder the last few years. We're able to do some things here in the punt game with Satchel. He has the ability to utilize that rugby, so we can be a traditional, shield punt, or we can get to what we did last year, get some multiple formations, some motions, some movements, and have the ability to remove the pocket and roll out in rugby as well. And last but not least, we got the snappers. We got 3 kids right now competing. Adam Vaught, who redshirted behind Rick Lovato last year, Jacob Schwinn, true freshman walk-on from Northern Virginia, and then Reed Boos, who went to UCLA actually as a true freshman, went to Glendale Community College, and he played with Shadow Williams, who's a linebacker on our team. So we got those 3 snappers right now competing for the starting job.
Return game, both punt and kickoff.
Right now in the punt return game, again, you lose a veteran, which a lot of these positions are right now. You lose a veteran, Antonio Vaughn, who's been back there, and you don't realize how important just giving forget what you get as a bonus in any yards after the catch. Just catching the football, giving it back to the offense. That's our #1 goal. No turnovers. Give it back to the offense every single time. So to be able to replace a guy that you can trust in crucial situations to catch every single football, give it back to the offense, that's big. Right now we got Marquise Little back there returning punts. We got Nick England and Isaiah Harper. Those are probably our top 3 right now in the return game. It's not just that those guys are just, I like to we use the term, not just efficient and just catching the ball, but those are 3 explosive guys that can take it to the house like Antonio Vaughn did as well. And then you look back on the kick return. We had Cam Boyd back there last year, Brandon Simmons. Actually kind of a pleasant surprise in Zach Pascal. You know, bigger guy, a guy that can work vertical and catch it on the run and get north and south right now. He's been a big surprise for us here this preseason camp. And then we got Jeremy Cox, who did it at Fork Union, did it in high school. You know, he was here this spring, so we got a really good look at him this spring, and so far he's done a great job here this fall for us as well.
And we can't forget coverage, how important that is.
No doubt, no doubt. And we try to make a big point of emphasis our first special teams meeting of this fall. We didn't want to dwell too much on the past and the things that happened last year, but we wanted to make sure statistically the kids understood where we stood in Conference USA and where we stood nationally in the statistics last year. And it wasn't pretty, it wasn't good, but our kids, I think, have gravitated towards that. They have a chip on their shoulder. They understand where we need to go in the future, and we've been hammering at home. There's been a great mentality for the kids here so far in camp. You know, just working on fundamentals. You know, getting off blocks. You know, getting down the football field. We've been doing tackling circuits on special teams and the defensive guys, putting the offensive guys through those tackling circuits, because that's important. You know, you get those those receivers. You know, they're used to out there being blocking and catching touchdowns. They're not used to, you know, tackling a return guy, but that's important. So we've been really focused on those fundamentals here this camp.
But do these young men understand all major college football players want to play in the NFL someday? Most NFL rookies make a team because of what they can contribute to that team's special teams.
There's two examples that I like to use. One, going back to when we played at the University of Maine, Coach Wickham and I, Coach Wilder was coach, Montel Owens. Montel Owens was a career backup running back. Played a lot, ended up being a starter his senior year, was an all-conference. Yeah, you know, I don't know if he was honorable mention his senior year. Well, Montel Owens just, I think he retired with Detroit Lions fine last year. He was in the league for 9 years. He went to 3 Pro Bowls, had a couple of touchdowns in their Pro Bowls, and Montel made his living being a special teams warrior. Guy just all out on punt return, kickoff return. He did everything. He played running back, he played fullback. He was so invaluable to his team at the next level. And I try to, you know, that's a real life example for my guys to understand that this kid wasn't even a starter till his senior year, but what he's done in the career he's had at the NFL. And then now that we've got guys in the NFL, Old Dominion does, now you can use real life examples. These scouts are coming in, going back to when Craig Wilkins was coming out, and asking, what does Craig Wilkins do? What teams was he on? Larry Pinkard, all these guys that have gone on to the next level. Those scouts come in and they talk to me as a special teams coordinator, and they ask, you know, what are these kids? What have they done for you on special teams over the course of their career? I don't know if, you know, Craig Wilkins had a story for me. Actually, the Seahawks and the Patriots put him on the board and had him describe our punt coverage, our punt protection, punt coverage, and our kickoff coverage. So they want to know, what do these kids know at the college level that's going to transition to the NFL level? So
all in all, you feel better about special teams this year than you have in the past few years because of the depth?
No doubt about it. There's a ton of ways to skin a cat, X's and O's, and there's no right or wrong scheme. But if you don't have the right personnel in the right spots, it's not going to work. And I think so where we are depth-wise, yes, we are one of the youngest teams in the country, but a lot of this youth, they played last year as freshmen or sophomores on special teams. So now these kids got experience, and then you got the veteran guys in there as well, the Malik Johnsons, the Anthony Wilsons, you know, Zach Pascal, Blair Roberts. Their first football ever played at ODU was on special teams. And you go back to see where they are now as, you know, 3rd, 4th, 5th year guys. Those young kids look up to them and they understand and they know where their game needs to go. So very excited. Been a great trying to think of the word I'm looking for. Yeah, preseason camp, just the energy level, the enthusiasm. Guys have been all in, and it's not been pulling teeth out there. These kids know and understand the improvement we need to make.